Welcome back to another video, an update video on the International Scout 1974. So I have made quite a bit of progress since the last video. I think this is video number 8 or 9, I think. So I have finished the passenger side floor pan in the sense that it's cut out and bent into all the bends are made. All that's remaining on that is to drill the holes for the spot welds to weld it to the cross members. And I have the 2 pieces for the cab mounts that goes just underneath that. They're laying the floor. They've already been pre-drilled and they're ready to go in. So that's pretty much is going to finish up the floor, and that's a big milestone, needless to say. And I think I promised in the last video that I would show you guys the new parts I've got, and I will indeed do that because I have them here. So let's start with the smaller ones first. These are the arch pieces for the quarter panels, and they go something like that. They basically go underneath this piece, and then the quarter panel welds to this flange on the back side. And I could have made these, but it was more cost effective to just buy them as they were. They had them in stock, so not a big issue. Also got a corner tail light housing. The other one wasn't rusted out, but it had took a pretty nasty impact, so it could not be repaired. This side, on the other hand, it had a dent down below the tail light itself, and I was able to get behind it and push it out, and so it's ready to go. What else did I get? I got 2 these pieces, and I could have made these as well, but I chose not to. But they go in that area there. Now these are, kind of pre-stamped out of a jig, I'm sure, so they will have to have some minor modifications done to make them fit perfectly, but it's not a big deal. And this side is, as I showed in the last video, it has the spot welds drilled in it already. The quarter panels themselves over here. Yep. Cannot wait to get those on. So they are almost ready. And while I'm on that subject, when I removed the old quarters, and this is how I generally take off any quarter panel, whether it's on a car, anything, I always usually will cut them off first, either with a cutting bit on an air hammer or just a a cutoff wheel. But what that does, it allows you to get the thing off quick, and then you can you're able to see your spot welds. You can get to them real easy to take the thing off like it's supposed to be taken off. And in this case, on the Scout, it has a rail up here on the top, a metal rail, and in that it's held down with these large, I guess they're number 3 Phillip head screws. Can't get that to focus. There it is. And so this is a 74 model. So these things have been in there a while. And that's another reason for getting these quarter panels off and out of the way, is because it allowed me to get to the bottom side of them. I've been dreading this for months because I was afraid I was going to probably damage them, strip them out, whatever. A million things can happen to these. And I was just about to go buy a impact driver, Phillip head impact driver, to see if I could get them out. But I thought, I'm going to try, just for the sake of trying, heat. And so I've got just a small propane torch, nothing fancy, just a handheld propane torch. And I warmed up the bottom side for about 30 to 45 seconds. And I had this set up, a large Phillips screwdriver, number 3 on the end, with a big pair of vice grips clamped onto it, onto the shaft for extra leverage. And I was able to get every one of these out just with that method of heating them up for about 30 to 45 seconds and then using them. The only one that gave me an issue was the last one on the driver's side, and it stripped out, I believe, because it was probably started wrong to begin with. It wasn't anything to do with using or not using heat. It was just that way. But I'm very satisfied with the way those could come out. So that is pretty much all on the cab at this time. This is the bulkhead that goes behind the seat and in the front of the bed, and I've got the hard areas sandblasted. I could have sandblasted all of it, and I still may go back. I was running low on sand at the time. I wanted to get it, all the areas done that were critical, and so I just elected to get the parts that were going to be hard to sand anyway. If I chose to sand it, if I don't want to come back and sand this, I can just run over this with a DA dual action sander, because it's all high areas that are left. But what I do have to address is the very bottom edge of this. This bolts to the bottom of the bed, up in the front of the bed itself, the bed floor. And as you can tell, it's rotted out in numerous places all the way down. So that's going to be replaced, or repaired. And I'm just going to cut that in the seam, or in the bend itself, so I can get a nice straight line. And before I do that, I will cut my new piece, lay it up against this so I can mark where the holes are. And once I get that done, I'll just zip this off all the way down, repair these corners as well, and that'll be done and ready to paint. Well, actually, it's not going to be painted. It'll be bed liner. This is what's going to go on that. The fenders are pretty much done. I'm probably going to block them and make sure I didn't miss anything. I do have to make these pieces, as they're rotted out, but they just go down low here and bolt up to the radiator support. they're going to be easy to make. And also done some painting while I had some good weather. And basically we got here the piece that covers up the cowl where the windshield wipers go, or the windshield wiper motor assembly I think fits under there, or maybe there's nothing under there. I can't remember, but anyway, it's in that. It's just below the windshield, and so we got that painted. Down here I have the two of the door hinges. Over here I've got one of the doors. I don't know if it's the right or left. Over here I have another door and windshield frame. It's painted and ready. And another or two more of the door hinges hanging up. And over here is the roof section, roof and back glass section of the Scout. And so there wasn't any way ideally you'd want to paint something like this front and back at one time, but it just was not possible to do it that way. So what I ended up doing is obviously painting the back side of it just as you would the fender, or in this case the hood. I got the bottom side of it refinished as well. So this was basically a episode where I painted or cutting in, depending on who you are. Some people say cutting in the fender or cutting in the parts. Some say feathering them in. Just a matter of what your taste is. But either way, it's done. This area you can see that's not got any paint on it around the back glass. That is going to be in bed liner material, or rubberized material, or something close to that, Raptor line or something like that. For reasons I won't go into here. But anyway, I didn't find one dent in the roof. It was very, very good shape. So all of that is kind of hanging out here drying while I'm been doing some of this other stuff. Now, we're in October and we have some really perfect weather here lined up, so I'm going to be frantically working and trying to get this stuff painted before winter really sets in. But right now we have some, mid 70, lower 80 degree days, sunny. So I want to try to get this stuff knocked out, at least the painting part of it. And that way I'll be set up good to get this thing put back together. So coming up before long, we'll be starting on the engine transmission, getting that set in the, there's the engine for it, getting that set in the frame, all that stuff buttoned up and squared away. Anyway, that's going to be all for today. I'm over my limit of time, so later.